Happy Thursday, folks. In this video, we're going to go over the latest Detroit Lions news and rumors for you folks today. A lot of talk about here, specifically when it comes to the Lions and Rams game. Stafford speaks. We'll talk about what he said. Aiden Hutchinson excited to go against his former team. There is a quote-unquote proposed trade that an analyst would say that the Lions should do. We'll talk about that. Is that actually something that would happen? Also, injury report. Let's go. Subscribe to the channel. Why is that? There's going to be other content creators on here. Last night, they did the fantasy football draft. Everybody was on there. And at some point soon, individuals will be dropping their content. You're going to have live shows with Speakeasy, Spenmo Racks, Ant-Man, everybody. So we're going to be having a good time right there. So subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the latest news here. We're going to talk about the injury report. Jahmyr Gibbs, he returned to practice. That is great news. There's only injuries to, well, we already know about those guys, but Lauren Strickland, thumb injury, and safety Afutu Melifonwu. DJ Reader he was dealing with the quad that he sustained when he was a Bengal, but he's not injured. It's just trying to get into football shape, and I actually expect him to play on Sunday now. You know, listening to what Dan Campbell is saying, they said it's possible. I think he is going to play. Especially they've been going full on with him and having pretty, even though it was a limited practice, what he was saying is they're throwing the full thing at him. So I think he'll be good to go. And then that would be huge, man. You have a DJ Reader and a Lee McNeil together. Now, it may be just a certain amount of snaps. That's fine. But at least you get to see him perform in a Lions uniform. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of doing thumbnails with him in a Cincinnati Bengals uniform, so excited to see him put in a Lions uniform, be out there and play. Levi Nwuzurike, the Lions defensive line in the interior is stacked. This is going to be really fun to watch. So I'm super, super excited for that, to watch the Lions defensive line there and just be strong. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Stafford speaks about Kerby Joseph. He don't like Kerby Joseph. He feels Kerby Joseph is dirty. Says the deal last year, I don't like it when guys, for one reason or another, take shots at guys and feel like they're not going the way of the game that should be played. That was something that had been on tape previous weeks, and he had done that. Are you looking back at games, a past game? He said things showing up, and it was frustrating my guy in the moment. In reality, he's protected the guy. Here's the thing. I seen the play of Kerby Joseph, and he did do that to T.J. Hawkinson in the Vikings game, and then he did do the hit to their tight end in this game. Here's the problem. Change the rules then. Change the rules. But the problem is for defenders, and this is a reason why we have this issue, is you can't hit players now pretty much anywhere. You can't do it. You can't do it up. You can't go extremely low. You have a minimal space for these guys to hit. And so when you have a minimal space and these guys are going 20 miles an hour, 23 miles an hour running, it is split second. So it's not an excuse for Kerby Joseph. It's not an excuse for anybody. But that's the facts of the matter of the situation. I mean, they literally in the game, they talked about this. It's a legal hit. A lot of receivers would like to get hit in the head, but they can't do that. They stated that they don't want players to get hit in the head, so where are you going to hit them? You have to go somewhere. So that is the problem. So he could be mad at Kerby Joseph all he wants, but he needs to be mad at the rules makers. And let's keep 100. Quarterbacks are the reason that this is happening. Everybody wants to protect the quarterback and protect the offense, protect the offense, protect the offense. What about defensive players too? You know, all these rules, yeah, it may help one out, but then it's going to hurt the other. In case of going near players' knees, right? You used to be able to go a little bit higher, but you can't do that anymore. So it's really difficult for defenders. And do I think Kerby Joseph is a dirty player? No, I don't. Do I think he's cocky? Yeah, he could be cocky, but so is, I would say, 95% of NFL players. But change the rules. Stop whining about it. You know, stop whining about it. Change the rules. If that's so hard, let him hit higher then. You know, it's quite difficult And it's irritating because when you look at all these rules that the NFL does, i.e. changing the special teams rule that they just did the kickoff, sometimes if it ain't broke, don't change it. Because now I think this new special teams kickoff is terrible. I think it's horrible. And the old way to me is way better. You just move the kickoff back 10 yards if you want them to return it. Not this new kickoff rule that's funky, and I'm just not a big fan. So sometimes the NFL overthinks it. And when you have too many rules, it's nearly impossible to play. And I'm not wanting to play flag football. I want to play hard-hitting football. Yes, you're going to get injured in the game of football. Okay, it is a physical sport. That is what it is. Right? You got MMA, it's a physical sport. Rugby, a physical sport. Football, a physical sport. Wrestling, a physical sport. Boxing. Okay, sometimes you're going to get injured, and that's the truth of the situation. You can try to make it better, but sometimes if you try to make it better, it actually makes it worse. And I feel like in this case, it made it worse. So he can get upset about it, have the rules changed then, or go to flag football. That's the name of the situation. It's just the truth. Here was a trade idea done by the big media, and he was talking about Davante Adams to the Lions. It says, Adams is still incredibly good despite his age. He has 4 straight 1,100-yard, 8-touchdown season despite playing in Vegas the last 2 years. We need to save Adams from playing in Vegas for another year, and Detroit's explosive offense is the best way to maximize the rest of his career. Detroit's cap situation is helping to absorb Adams' $16 million base salary right now, and minor trimming the future is a palatable deal. He has $0 guaranteed beyond this season, and restructuring could make a contract even more favorable in return. The Raiders clear off $17.5 million cap, $36 million in 2025. Taking a flyer on Jameson Williams is what gets the deal done across the finish. This idea that the Lions are going to trade Jameson Williams is the Why would we go for an old player who's expensive? We're going to trade for an old player who's expensive and give the Raiders a young player, inexpensive, who's just starting to break out. We developed Jameson Williams now after 2 years. This could be year 3. And he's been blowing up in training camp. We're just going to give that away for an old veteran who's expensive. No, this is not how this is absolutely stupid and ludicrous. I've been hearing all off season that the Lions are going to trade Jameson. I get these messages. I hear the fake news in the Twitterverse, in this type. When at some point is this going to stop? They're not trading this guy. They like Jameson Williams. They developed him to this point. You invested years of development getting a guy who you traded up in the draft, and now he's going to really show his worth, and that's when you trade him for an old, long-in-the-tooth veteran? Folks, I already know I'm going to get this. That's why I did this part of this video. We're not trading Jameson Williams. Now, I'm not saying that if they wanted to get a Davante Adams, yeah, physically they could. Doesn't make really any sense, right? You can only have so many footballs to go around. Davante Adams craves the football. He's not going to get that in Detroit. Okay, St. Brown's number 1, Jameson Williams number 2. He would come in here potentially as a number 3, right? So it's not going to work for him. If he wants to go to a team, he's probably going to want to go to a team where he's more of a number 1. I don't know with this situation. Maybe he would like to go to, I don't know, New Orleans back with Carr, or he wants to go to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. Or maybe he wants to be a number 1 for Carolina or something over there, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for the Lions. It just doesn't. And he whines and complains. Does that sound like a Dan Campbell type of guy? Davante Adams. Oh, I didn't get the ball. Wham, wham. That's not a Dan Campbell type of guy. That's not Brad Holmes. They find specific players for their team. As much as he is a good player, right? He's still talented even at his age. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense for the Lions at all. Fiscally, okay, but you would have to give up draft picks for an older guy who's going to be potentially a number 3 on here, who's going to whine and complain that he's not getting a lot of touches. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But hey, maybe it's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you trade for Davante Adams? Why for yes and for no? Ada Hutchinson excited to face his former teammate. Yay, yay, yay. It's going to be fun, too. It's really weird what's going to be happening here, because he's going to be going against Jonah Jackson. Jonah Jackson for the Rams, former Lions offensive lineman, who's playing center for them right now. They have a big mix-up on the offensive line. A lot of injuries going over there for the Rams. And this is one of the reasons why I think the Lions are going to win this game. The Lions' defensive interior, much better what it was last year. And the offensive line for the Rams is really banged up. So the Lions' defensive line is extremely improved. Their offensive line, I feel like, is much less. And when you have a situation like that, you have where the Lions have a advantage here. It's a significant advantage, too, because the trenches is where it all starts. So, can't wait to see this. Matthew Stafford prepared to hear it from the Lions, a motivating factor, and love it. He's lying. Do you think he really, let me get back. Do you think that, why is it not showing my, okay, well, the article is not changing, okay, but here's the article. It says, Matthew Stafford prepared to hear it from the Lions, motivating factor, he loves it. I feel the crowd 100%. Motivating factor, love it. No, he doesn't. You're hearing the fans of a team that you was with for 12 years chant Jared Goff and boo you, and you love it. Come on, man. I think any human being would say, man, that in reality, that sucks, right? That sucks. It's not motivating. He doesn't love it. He wants to beat us really bad. And of course he would love to have people chant his name. Who won it? And that's normal. Like, I'm not even there's no reason to, I don't believe him at all when he says this, but if he says, man, it does kind of, if he was to come out and say it does irritate me, obviously he's going to look like he's a quote-unquote a coward, even though I don't think that would be the case in my opinion. I think that it's human nature. If someone's booing you or chanting your name, you're gonna take a feel for that, and that's perfectly fine. And I don't have a problem with that, at all. And again, I have no issue with Stafford at all. He's the enemy on Sunday night when he retires a Lion. I'll celebrate it because he did give me a lot of good memories, but. He's not a Lion right now. So, he's just another quarterback. And I know a lot of people really, they talk about this Stafford thing, and I personally don't care too much about it anymore. Like, I didn't really care about it last year. Once a player leaves the team, they leave the team. There's not much of I don't have much of a connection. Because I look at players as players. I don't look at them as saviors or anything like that. And when Jared Goff retires or anything, if he stays a Detroit Lion for the rest of his career, that would be amazing. If he was to go to another team and he was to come here, of course I would boo him. But when he retires a Lion, I really hope he retires a Lion. I have a lot of love for Jared Goff. He's given me a lot of victories. If he wins a Super Bowl, he would be my favorite player probably ever if he did that. But again, when it comes to football right now, I cheer who's on my team and I boo folks who is not on my team. But there is going to be players who you do kind of root for, right? Like, yeah, I really like what the Houston Texans are doing over there because of how they've built their organization. So I like that. There could be situations where I like a Kirk Cousins, right? I don't want him to win, right? But he is 5 miles from, he's a Holland hero where I live. So, of course, I want to root for him, but absolutely not. He's facing the Lions. And if we have to face them in the playoffs, there's potential the Falcons go to the playoffs, course I'm going to boo him. So we got to understand there's a little separation there, and I don't really, not big into the Stafford hate or Stafford love or any of that type of thing. Hopefully it ends. I'll be excited when it's over and he retires, just because I think we all get tired of hearing about it. To me, it's almost becoming a Taylor Swift type of annoyance. It'll never get that annoying because Taylor Swift stuff is really annoying, but y'all know what I mean. But subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. With that said, folks, adios.